Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, The Town Watch. My name is Josh Town. Thanks for stopping by today. A few months ago, a friend of mine, Matt Stingray, it's your boy, Matt Stingray, with the Rock the Watch channel. Go check him out if you don't know him. He's a really great guy, a fun guy, has an amazing collection, some high-end pieces that you're not going to want to miss. Go check him out if you don't know him. But a few months ago, Matt, he sent me a watch and he gifted it to me. I was just really blown away by his generosity in doing that. He sent me over this really nice Orient solar chronograph. And honestly, I've been wearing this watch a lot and really enjoying it, and I'm ready to do the full review in today's video, go into all the details, share some things that I don't like about it, but mostly things that I do like about it, so you're going to want to stay tuned for this review. Before we get into it, please leave a like on this video. It really helps out, and we'll jump right into the review. Well, here it is, guys, the Orient Solar Chronograph. Some people call it Solar Panda. Whatever you want to say is fine with me. I think it's a really nice looking piece. Now you're going to see some wear and tear on this watch. I might point out a few specific things, but when Matt sent me this watch, it was in immaculate condition, and I've definitely worn it and accidentally bumped it on some places and put some scratches on it already. But you know, hopefully it's not too bad for this review. Let's jump right into the specs and features of this watch. The model number is WV0041TX. The movement is a KSB01 from Orient, and it seems to be solar mecha quartz because there is somewhat of a smooth sweep for the chronograph, which we'll showcase in a moment. The crystal is mineral, case material is stainless steel, case diameter comes in at 42 millimeters, case thickness comes in at 11.7, lug to lug distance comes in at 48.6, lug width comes in at 22 millimeters, band material stainless steel, water resistance is 100 meters, and I weighed this watch with all the links at 128.5 grams. So I couldn't find too much about this movement. Some people that I read compared it to another solar chronograph movement from Seiko, but as far as what's written on the back of the movement of this watch, it says KSB01, and I did open up the case back to take a peek at that. But when you push the pusher for the chronograph, you can see it's not just ticking every second, but there is probably 3 or 4 ticks every second as far as I can tell. So perhaps this is some sort of mecha quartz, solar mecha quartz. I am not quite sure. Maybe someone down in the comments can share some more information about that KSB01 movement. But it's quartz, and it's accurate, and it's solar powered, so you're not going to have to worry about the battery, so that's an amazing thing. This watch really has a nice vintage feel to it, but it has it in a modern size, being a 42 millimeter case. And for me, on my 6.5-inch wrist, I've found this watch to be really comfortable and just a right size. The lug to lug distance is not too long, even though it's a 42 millimeter case, so it really fits nicely. And you know, the finishing on this case, you got some polishing on the sides of the case, and you got brushing on the tops of the lugs. The lugs do curve down slightly, and there is a screw down case back on this watch, and there's a seal there which helps with the 100 meters of water resistance. The crown and pushers, they function nicely. There's no real like click that you feel necessarily when you push the pushers, but when you do, it's very positive. When you do push it down, it stops and goes pretty much right when you do it. So they function really nicely. And the crown is signed, and it's just a simple push-pull crown, no screw-down crown here, but I think it's proportioned really nicely for the size of this watch, and it looks good, and it hugs the case nicely. There's a little cutout there for the crown. The dial is really nice. This is my first chronograph, so I really enjoyed the chronograph look, the black and white that's going on there. It's not necessarily like a real bright white. It's almost like a silvery colored white, and I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up or not, but in different lights you kind of get different tones there. But it's a nice looking dial for sure. And don't mind the crystal. You can see somehow I knocked it and took a chip out of that. Sorry about that, Matt, and destroying this nice gift that you gave me. And put some more scratches on the crystal right up here as well, and on the bezel. So I've banged it around a little bit, unfortunately. As you can see, there are 3 black subdials, and these are transparent, and that's where the light comes in to keep the battery charged. This one is 24-hour time over here on the right. This is your seconds, so that keeps ticking away there. And then this is part of the chronograph feature. You can time up to 60 minutes with this subdial. Everything is done nicely. There is a large chapter ring that you see here. The indices are applied nicely, and they have multiple facets to them, so as you move it around, they definitely play with the light. The hands are partly skeletonized down here, and unfortunately, I don't know if it's due completely just because they're skeletonized or what, but I've found this watch to be a little bit hard to read. It's not the most legible watch that is out there. I'm not sure exactly why or what they could have done different to help out with that, but in my experience, it's been a little hard to read. You do get a date window that's there, and that's another negative to this dial. They definitely could have done without it, but then again, if you do a date, I mean, this one is like really far down in there, and like in lights and different lighting, and it kind of casts a shadow on the date because it's so deep in there. It's just crazy how deep in there it is, and so it's hard to see, hard to read because of that. So they could have done a better job about that for sure. Now there is some lume on this watch. We got some lume on the ends of the hands and some pips on the inside of the dial. So I'm going to charge this up and get a quick lume shot. So there's a little glimpse at the lume. When it's charged up, it glows pretty nicely, but don't expect it to last too long. But it is nice to have some lume there for legibility when it's dark. So moving on to the bracelet of this watch. It's not the worst bracelet, and it's not the best bracelet. Of course, they're trying to cut some costs on this watch. There is hollow end links here, and the center links on this watch seem to be hollow as well. I do have to say that this watch is comfortable on the wrist. The bracelet articulates really well. But of course, as always, you can change the bracelet, put a strap on this, do whatever you want. Clasp works fine. There are a few micro adjustment points there, and it is a split pin system to change the links. The price of this watch, the MSRP, I'm not quite sure. There is this hang tag here, 32,000 yen. Someone can tell me how much that is in American dollars right now. But you can find this watch on eBay for around $285 is the cheapest that I found it. On Amazon, last I checked, it was unavailable, but you might keep checking there. It might come available again. But I'll leave any links to where I can find this watch down in the description below if you're interested. So let me get back in front of the camera and share my final verdict. So there you have it. That's my review of this cool solar Panda, this solar chronograph watch from Orient. As I said in the introduction, I truly have enjoyed my time with this piece. I like the vintage vibes that it gives off, and it's a solid piece for the price. Now, of course, there were some gripes that I had. You know, it's not the most legible watch in the world, in my experience anyway. And, you know, looking at the date, it's kind of almost like peering down into a well trying to read the date, how deep it's in there. But other than those things, of course, sapphire crystal, we always would prefer that. But other than those things, I think it's a great piece. I love the fact that it's solar powered, not just quartz, but a solar quartz. So it's super accurate, and you don't have to worry about the battery. So that's what I like about it too. But just an overall awesome piece, and just have to say again, thank you to Matt Stingray over at Rock the Watch for giving me this watch. Appreciate that, my friend. But what do you think about this piece? I'd like to hear from you. Do you like this watch? Do you not like it? Tell me all your thoughts down in the comments. Any questions you might have, something I missed in the video. I'd love to interact with you down there. Thanks for stopping by today to the Town Watch. And please leave a like on this video. It really helps out. Share it with your friends. We really appreciate it. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning into this review, and we'll see you next time.